Hello, Bill Hayes again. Well, guys, I've been asked to come up with a device to assist in allowing you to tie a pouch to a band set in the field. So if you're in the field and you need to get it done, what can you do? How do you put it together? Well, your Slingshot itself, as long as it has the Predator Pro attachments, or even if you just have a nail on a board, that's all you actually need to get it done. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We'll take one of the new sears, and we just take the Predator Pro attachment, one of the sides loose, like this. All right, we drop that faceplate there. You take a pouch, nice raw pouch like this, and just put that through there. And then you see how it sits on here like this, okay? It goes like that. Now you just take your band. Now this can be old bicycle tube. It can be a latex tourniquet. It can be anything like that. It can be anything that you have available to you. It can be rubber bands. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you put it in here. Let me show you one more time. You take it from here. You pinch the edges together like this, okay? Like that. Your pouch, you put that through there. Pull that in there to where it kind of makes it like an hourglass shape. Alright. Fold that book back over itself like this. Now you can take a piece of rubber band or old tubing or something like that and put that right there with it. Now with your thumb, you hold the tubing. Now I just chose this piece because it's black and you can see it against this this TheraBand here pretty easily. Anyway, you put that, you hold that together with your hand, and then you stretch this out with holding this in your hand here, and that's easy to do. And then from here, you just put this several loops around it. You hold it in place with your middle finger like this. It is tricky to do, but it's fairly easy to do at the same time. It's easy so long as you practice it a couple of times, and you can do it. All right, you've done that. You take the piece that was underneath your thumb there. You see that? The piece that's underneath your thumb and there, and then you just tie them together. Now, take a little bit of saliva, a little spit, put it on there, and that acts as lubrication. Pull it tight, and then do one more knot on it, and you're set. Then of course you would just cut the excess off with your pocket knife or your field knife, whatever you got there. So you cut that off. Reminds me I need to get my knife my knife sharpened. Alright. This knife gets a lot of use though. Alright, and then that gets you there. This little ear that's left over, you can leave it on there or take it off either way. Anyway, that holds real well. That's real easy to do. Now, to do the other side, you can use that leftover piece of rubber band there, or you can do something else. Anyway, let me show you how you do the other side. If you have, you can take the inside of paracord. If I can get this up here, this is the inside of paracord. You can use that's one of the strands of nylon thread that's inside the paracord. Anyway, you put that on there. Okay. And you just repeat for the other side, these first two steps. Well, I'm sorry. You got to start over here for a second. It's easier to do it this way. You make a little noose. You hold it like that. And run it over itself, and back through the hole, and you have a little noose made there. Anyway, you take that, you set that aside first, okay? You got your TheraBand or your bicycle tube, whatever you have there. Put it through the hole and do it just like the first side. Yeah, so you got your hourglass shape going there. Put it back on top of itself. Now I'm holding this in front of myself and doing it so the camera can see it easier. It is much easier to do when it's closer to your body and holding it, of course. So I'm doing it the ultimate hard way to do it. Anyway, that holds in place very easily. Just use it with hand pressure like this. You take your little noose, put it on there, and you can do this one-handed if you like. Put the end of the string through the little hole there, like that. And you have it like that. Then you pull that tight, and you wrap it at 1, 2, 3. Now again, it's harder to do this in the field than it is, you know, of course, at your place there with little pony clamps or toggle clamps or however you want to set it up. But sometimes you don't have a choice, and this is what you have to do. All right? And then once that's wrapped a few times, you can just let that loose because the hole itself keep that loop right there alive. Pull this underneath and through. Now this little nylon thread here is very slick, and so it's a little bit harder to work with. That's fine. Okay, now we'll do that one more time. Now this time, when it's on there, you take it and you give it a little twist, so it's backwards onto itself. Okay, like that. And put the end of the thread through that little hole. And that's tight then. Okay. Now as you see, that's extremely tight, and it'll tighten back up onto itself like a noose, and very, very tight then. And that isn't going anywhere, guys. Alright. And that is basically how you do it. You just cut your little excess off there and you're set. Works perfect. Both sides perfect. And then of course to put it on your Predator Pro attach, it's like this. Let me just go ahead and cut that little excess off there because it doesn't look neat. There we go. To put it on here, most people like to do it in the field. They'll do it like this. You'll put it through the top first, like this. See, I did that. Whoops. You put it through the top first. Pull that through so you have plenty of slack to work with. And that goes in there through the bottom. Now this is a buckle clamp, so it's a pretty strong way to do it. Okay. Now with the other hand, you put that on there, put that there, and you oh goodness. Again, doing this in front of you like this is harder to do than if you're holding it up against you. Alright. Then you find that thread on there. There we go. Doing it left-handed and showing for the camera with it open like this so you can see it. It's harder to do. Anyway, you adjust it just exactly like you want. Alright. And you tighten it down. Now on this one here, I went ahead and left a little bit of a piece on here so you can see how well this actually holds. I'm pulling this out to full draw, full tension on there, as you can see. And it's so tight and it works so well because it pulls against itself that it doesn't even make that little knot pull down in there, that little slack piece. And then when you pull it across the edge like this, it doesn't even affect it at all. Because anytime you pull something across an edge, you know, latex across an edge, it really reduces the amount of tension on the actual buckle attachment. Alright guys, I guess that's about it. That's how you could do this in the field. You just take your string, tie it on there, or use a little piece of rubber band or something. Maybe cut a strip of tire inner tube, or from a bicycle tire inner tube or something like that. That's all you need to do. Put it on there and buckle both sides up, and boom, you're ready to shoot. Again, it is easier to do in your tent with a couple of toggle clamp setup, but it's not necessary. And again, this is not necessary either to be able to do it. You can do it with a stick with one little branch or stem on there, and just kind of chop that off so it's got a little spike sticking up. You can just put your pouch across it and then tie it off on there. Now it's a little harder to do because there's a gap on the stick like this, so you can so there's room to work your hands in between. The fork works perfect for that. Well guys, I guess that's about it. Hopefully that answered that question. And thanks for watching. Y'all have a good night.